Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build. Thanks for joining us. We're here on the second to last day of this build. Today in this episode, what we're gonna focus on is raising the suspension in a free way. We have no money left in the budget. We're actually over budget. So we gotta get this car a little bit higher off the ground to do the off-roading. We're gonna check out the diff and see if we can weld the diff. We are going to do some fuel additive to clean the fuel system in this car a little bit. What else are we gonna do? And we are going to start on the entertainment system in the center console for the rear passengers. It's a lot of stuff to stay focused on, but we have to get through a lot of this because we only have one more day. So that's the game plan. Stay tuned. Today's episode is proudly brought to you by STP. For those of you that don't know, STP is a company that's been innovating and developing new products for over 60 years. So they've been in the market for a long time. They've been developing new products like the Ultra 5-in-1 fuel system cleaner that we're gonna use today. But they don't just make this stuff, they make all sorts of great stuff. They make high mileage products, they make oil additives, they make brake and power steering fluid. And one thing that I've used a lot of theirs is the octane booster. When I was in high school, I lived about 40, 50 miles away from the drag strip. So we'd run down to the store, buy some octane booster, drive to the drag strip, and then we'd dump it in our fuel so we'd have higher octane fuel for drag racing. So I've been using their products for a very long time. It's a very cool company and it is a nice, easy, and affordable way to help make your vehicle run better for longer. And that's exactly what we need to do with this car because we got to make it through the road trip on this thing. This is a good application for this because it has been sitting for a while. This car is, we bought it and it was donated, so we don't know the prior history to it. It looks like it's been sitting for a little bit. So it's a really, really good reason to use some fuel system cleaner. What this is gonna do is this is gonna go through and it's gonna boost your peak performance, you're gonna reduce friction, you're gonna prevent ethanol deposits, and it's gonna inhibit corrosion. So it's gonna do all sorts of good stuff for our fuel system. So it's really, really easy to use as well, which is really nice. You just pop off your fuel cap and you need to throw this in. It's a fuel additive, so you need to throw it in at least a half a tank of fuel, and it's just that easy. That's it. There's all there is to it. That's the best performance improvement that we're going to do to this vehicle's drivetrain, and it took less than a minute. So I'm serious when I say that this is a quick, easy, and affordable option to increase the performance of your car. Check them out. Their website is very easy to remember. It's stp.com. I'll put a link in the description. You can visit their website to find a retailer location near you and pick up some STP products for your own ride. STP has been around since the 50s, creating products since the 50s till now. 50s is like before my Mustang, nope, before my Camaro, by like, I don't know, my Camaro is 19 years older than that. So they've been creating products going all the way back from when they had carbureted cars up until now. And I think that really says something about a company that's been able to continually evolve and grow and to put out products supporting the automotive industry for over 6 decades. It's pretty impressive. So big thanks to STP for sponsoring this episode. And thanks for giving us this so we could clean up our fuel system. Now it's time to move over to the suspension system. All right, when it comes down to the suspension, to raise a vehicle, one of the easiest ways to do it is to put a block inside the spring coil so that the spring can no longer compress as far. We are on a really tight budget, so we can't afford to buy those nice little rubber blocks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna weld the springs to each other. So essentially, if you weld this link to this link and this link to this link, that space can no longer ever collapse, and that will stiffen the suspension. Well, it just makes a space that can't be collapsed down on, and that will result in your vehicle sitting higher. So over here, so here's the one issue though, is if you look where that strut tower goes in, it goes in, up, 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 and it comes out right about here. To pull the strut out to weld it properly, well, we're gonna weld it properly either way, but to pull the strut out, you have to disconnect it down there, and then you have to rip the whole back of the car apart to get access to this strut tower that's like right inside here. So it's not like on like the BRZ, for instance, where you just jump in the trunk. You have to pull the back seats out. You have to pull the back. It's too much stuff. It's hours of work. We're not going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and weld it inside the car. Same with the front. The front, you have a lot more space. It's a much wider spring, a lot more space to work around and stuff like that. So I'm going to save the welding for Eric because he is a professional welder. But what I'm going to do for now is cut lengths of metal. We're going to grab some rebar and I'm going to cut a bunch of lengths of metal for the both sides of the spring, all four around. So when Eric gets here, he's ready to roll. So what I'm gonna do is cut 3 lengths of metal for the front ones, 3 for each. So we're gonna do like one here, and one there. And then I'll cut 2 for the back sides. And the back sides, we're gonna do probably about 3 coils. So we'll maybe go like 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and weld all those solid. All right, that's the game plan. All right, that's our spacer metal all cut up and ready to go. These are 2 for the rear on both sides and then 3 for the front on both sides. So once Eric gets here, we'll have him weld that in, and that should be our suspension all set. Next thing we're going to start working on is I got Jeff. He's joined me here, and he's starting to look at the center section of the car. We're going to do some work. Apparently we're taking things apart already.
I think it's a cup holder.
Oh yeah, yeah, that thing. And we're gonna start working on the entertainment center for the section, the middle section of the car. So in the back, we want to have a screen for the passengers. So this is an old school computer monitor. I've verified that we can display HD to it. It's heavy though. So the idea is we want to mount it back there with something going to the transmission tunnel. So we've been kind of dissecting its backing plate, its stand right here, and Jeff popped the back off here. It's got a nice spring-loaded kind of mounting plate that allows for a little bit of angle to it. So Jeff's going to continue working on this. He's going to strip the rest of the plastic off and then give it a chop right here so it's just a straight down post. While he's working on that, I'm going to work inside the transmission tunnel, removing some of the carpet and stuff like that so we can get a steel post off the side of the transmission tunnel. It's going to go up, and we're going to kind of offset the screen. I'm going to probably call it a TV a bunch, even though it's just like a monitor, because what happens is the driver's side seat needs to be a little bit further back. So we're essentially going to start the screen from the far side, if you're in the back, the far right side of the driver's seat, going to the right over the passenger seat across the middle. So we're going to do the post coming off the transmission tunnel, off of the right side of the transmission tunnel, going up, connecting to this thing, and then the monitor screen will be able to connect right up to that. And that's just a matter of powering it. Yeah. So here you go, Jeff.
Thanks.
I'm going to get onto that.
Cheers.
Okay, Jeff just finished cutting up and finishing up this thing, and then we realized that arm is aluminum. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a post is gonna come off of here. So you have to get bare metal to weld onto. So that's why we got that going on there. So post is gonna come off of here as far as we need it to a bar that's gonna run up to the top, where we're gonna weld onto the end of the bar a piece of plate that we'll then screw onto this. So we'll have our actuation with our screen and everything still, and we'll be able to connect the steel bar with the aluminum back of that. So that's the game plan. That's another Eric welding job, because that's really close to a lot of flammable stuff, and it's a pretty technical, tight squeeze. So I'm just gonna make Eric do all the hard work on the welding. So I'm gonna find a piece of metal that will fit into that shape right there that can kind of come out a little bit, and then we'll get our bar cut and measured as well. All right, so I took a piece of angle iron. It's a nice 1-inch piece of angle iron. I drilled a bunch of holes in it, so we're gonna be able to tack weld through these holes right here. So that's gonna go, let me move my feet out of the way. That's gonna go right here. And that's why we have these holes, so you can tack weld through these holes into here, and we're gonna tack around it. Again, I'm gonna make Eric do that job. Now, and then we have this piece we're gonna trim down once we get it to fit. But this piece of tape is here on the car because that's right about where we want to stop building this post. So then we're gonna weld that to the car, weld this to the angle iron, cut this off right about here, and that's where we're gonna go ahead and connect to our bracket that then mounts the monitor right there. So that's about it. And the next steps are we trim this off, do a little plate, and then do some welding. All right, while we are waiting to start building that post and do some welding, the next step is we're gonna start building our center console. So where that measuring tape is essentially where we're gonna have a nice piece of varnished wood go across here that's gonna have different holders and cup holders and stuff like that in it. Lower down from that, we're gonna have another shelf down there, and then possibly a tray for some dry ice or some stuff like that. We're also banking on the fact that that's an air conditioning vent to kind of cool our beverages and stuff like that back here. So we're gonna start by cutting a piece of our plywood to match this size. We'll go ahead and cut that out, and then we'll start framing it up with metal. All right, so we got Eric in here. He just fresh off of a full day of welding, so we brought him in to do some more welding. For those of you that don't know, Eric's a professional welder, and he's been helping us on the channel for many years, and you know, he might have owned this car before I did. Alrighty, so Eric's gonna start by grinding off those springs so he can make some, get some bare metal to weld on our rebar. And Jeff and I are gonna continue working on this piece of metal shelf. Jeff made a nice clean cut for our shelf, so it's gonna sit in here like so. So we're gonna keep working on cutting out pieces for that. Nice and smoky. All right, this side is done. Eric did a great job welding these up. Eric, I fully approve these welds.
All right.
Good job. All right, we're gonna move on to the, do you wanna do the front next?
Yeah, we'll do the front.
All right, we're gonna move over here to the front. Much bigger spring coils. Eric will bust these out real quick. All right, and that's the front all done, all nice and welded up. I can't wait to lower this thing down. It's gonna be really cool to see what our ride height is. So Eric's gonna go ahead and do the other half now, and Jeff and I are gonna continue working on the interior. All right, we got Eric all set up with the TIG welder, and he's ready to weld our kind of bracket for that post. And you can see right there, that's the piece that he's gonna be welding, and he's gonna weld it in right there and not catch the car on fire. But just in case, we got a fire extinguisher right
behind you.
Right behind me. All right, Eric doesn't want me to show his welding because it didn't turn out as good as he could do, but the transmission tunnel is super thin metal, bent over that massive, like into that tunnel, so it was easy to burn through. But he says it's structural, so we're good to go. We're gonna continue on. The next thing is we gotta do that post that's gonna come off of here. So I guess I'm gonna jump in there with him. I'll hold the post right up roughly where we want it to be, and then he's gonna weld it together onto the bracket right there. And I guess it caught on fire a couple times. I was on the phone getting insurance for the car, which is really ironic because literally insuring it while catching it on fire. But all's well that ends well. Here we go.
That was weird, right? As you went.
Argon. Use the argon, Eric.
There we go.
All right, the dangerous part is over, and we have an entertainment system. Well, wait, we got a monitor, but it's welded to the transmission tunnel. Eric did a great job. Only caught the car on fire momentarily a couple times, so great job, Eric. And there we are. That's the screen. It also acts as kind of a divider. So the next thing that will happen on the interior here is we're gonna build the entertainment system center console area between the two passengers. But for now, these boys wanna go on a test drive, and I think that that would be a fun thing to do today. And we wanna see how this car sits with our new welded suspension. So we're gonna throw wheels on the car and lower it down and see what our ride height is like. Okay, we're all done. I had to cut apart the hub to fit the wheel spacer on the rear, so we got 2-inch spacers all the way around, and we added more suspension in the front. Here we go. Let's see how it looks.
Ready?
Yep. Looks good. It's nice and high.
It's pretty even too.
Dude, those extra spacers in the front made it look pretty good. They leveled it out pretty nicely.
It's high. It's nice and high.
That's what we wanted.
All right. Next, we gotta take it for a test drive. This car is so slow to start. First big corner. All right.
It's not that bad.
There's like almost no roll.
Well, there's not gonna be a lot of body roll.
Exactly.
Oh my God! Look at that fleet of cars. All right, to the testing grounds.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. First big bump.
Oh God. It wasn't that bad back
It
here.
really wasn't that bad. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think you guys are taking most of this shot.
At the front?
The front is so hard, dude. It's scary hard. Let's hit this side. Let's hit the speed bump at speed here. Oh no, that's too fast. Oh!
Well, that's not too bad in the rear at least.
No, the rear's, well, we left the suspension in the rear. So here's some bumps. Here's some normal size bumps.
Oh, that one's...
Not that bad. Not that bad.
It's not any worse than your lowered Honda Civic that people drive around.
I was gonna say, I don't have a lowered Honda Civic.
It's really not that bad.
Get some good thunks, some good clunks. Dun, 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 dun,
Definitely worth the ground clearance that we get.
Yeah, with the extra ground clearance we get out of that, it's actually really worth it. All right, you guys ready to get up to speed?
Let's do it.
I guess so.
Here we go. It's always so scary first time going fast in a car.
I don't know, I'm like not
40! 50! Little steering wheel wobble. Brake test.
There's traction coming down
you
through
that.
the sunroof.
I told you that sunroof was sketchy. Hey, it goes 50. We don't have too bad a steering wheel wobble.
As long as the brakes work.
I do think the brakes work. Should we give it a good brake test?
There's a car behind us.
Yeah, they're pretty far back there. Here's a bump. A little bump.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad. No. You're right. For the amount of ground clearance that we get out of this, it's for sure worth it.
Let's see where we can go.
Oh yeah, the whole reason we decided to do this was so we could go to the car wash.
I think every time we hear that.
We might have to go through like 4 times.
I don't have enough money. We just were broke, yo.
I'll have to buy some swag so we can get this car washed.
All right, well, we made it through the car wash. All parts intact, we think. Definitely not clean. That's it for the test drive. We'll see you back at the shop. All right, guys, that's where we're gonna wrap up this episode. We left the car out front because we're gonna work outside tomorrow on some other fun stuff. A lot of good stuff got done today. Thank you so much for watching, and huge thanks to our sponsor, STP. Guys, check it out. Again, link in the description, stp.com. Go check them out. That's about it. If you like Beast for Build, you want to help out and support, head over to beastforbuild.com. Scroll down to the shop, pick yourself up a hat or a shirt like this one. All the proceeds of that go directly towards supporting these builds. And if you want to find us in more places, we're Beast for Build on Instagram or Beast for Build on Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace!
Come on.